Want to go over the trades that I've taken today, and we took a total of 3 trades, 2 entries on this pair CAD JPY and 1 entry on CAD Chef. Okay, I want to go over exactly why I got into them, what happened, why I took profit when I took profit, and yeah, I'll just explain exactly what I was seeing. So as you can see here, I have this previous candles range high, 4 hour high, 1 a.m. London open, high, low, close. Now, what I mean by that is this is the Asia sessions 4 hour candle, and this is the London sessions 4 hour candle. Okay. So as we see, as I explained in the previous video about what I was seeing at this time before this candle printed, is we took the high here. Now, this high that it made here on this 4 hour was the 1 hour London high. Okay, so it was this high here and this high here. They're very, very close, very similar, anyways. They were both inside of 1 hour FVG, taking a point of interest, liquidity above Asia, and the draw was Asia low, and then this target here, which was the previous week's low. So if we go back onto the 4 hour, why have I started to prioritize this 4 hour candle? Now, we don't need to see this, anyways. So why am I prioritizing this? Okay, so we have this previous week's low down here. Okay, and obviously once we sweep this area here on the 4 hour, we don't have a 4 hour FVG overlapping, but we do on the 1 hour. Okay, and when we go down to the 1 hour, you can see it's quite clean, this big gap, and this is sort of like a new week opening gap, as you can see, Friday and then Sunday. Okay, so price tags in and then comes lower. Yeah, so 4 hour candle, all I'm trying to do now, and the way that I'm basically trading at the moment, and probably for the foreseeable, is all I'm trying to trade is the open of London is just before I come on. Then at 2 a.m. New York, I will start my session. I'm looking to see if price has had an open and then a high on the 4 hour chart. Once I come onto a pair and I see a high being put in on the 4 hour, I'm looking to get in on this distribution leg towards the draw, which is what happens here. Okay. And then price could do whatever it wants now. It can close here or whatever it wants to do. Okay. So it might be like that. It's made the low and it might come back up and close here. Okay, as you can see, there's only 11 minutes left of this 4 hour candle. Now, this is why I've closed my trades in profit. So you can see open, high, low, close. We've distributed over 2 4 hour candles. So you've got the London and then the start of, well, this is sort of the London and the New York candle. Yeah, the start of New York. Timing's a little bit off at the moment because obviously New York's gone 1 hour in front of, they've pushed 1 hour forward and UK hasn't yet. But nonetheless, we're basing everything on time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. As long as we're using this New York Standard Time and we're basing it off these 4 hour candles. So you can see 1 a.m. it opens, 2 a.m. I start my London session, look for the distribution in the 4 hour leg during the London session, and then the same on this candle. Just look for the distribution part of it. Okay, so this is what I was seeing. Open, high, low, close, as I've imitated here. Okay. Now, 1 hour, again, you can see what's happened. Okay, this is the start of that 4 hour candle. We go open, high, price comes back. This candle is an inside bar after sweep. Well, not it's an inside bar. It's actually swept the low, so there was nothing at the start of London, which is why I didn't trade. Then here we didn't have any confirmation apart from we swept this high and closed below. So I was looking to enter this trade here, which is what I ended up doing. As you'll see, if we come onto this time frame, the 5 minute, this is my first entry. This is the entry that ended up going break even because I didn't see what I wanted to see before price for the time closed. And I'm going to explain that now, as I've explained once already in the other video, but I'll do it again. So as you can see, up here we have London, create sort of somewhat, this is sort of the high that gets put in because this is sort of relative equal highs. So if we're going off this, you need a market structure shift, you get it here. Okay, price tags in, probably would have come really close to stop loss if not got tagged from spreads. Most likely would have. Okay, so I didn't take anything here anyways. And then I believe, yes, 4 o'clock. So let me just check, make sure I'm right before I start talking. Yeah, so this candle, the 4 o'clock candle, the 3 a.m. one only closed below the high and it sort of left relative equal lows down here. So I wanted some sort of extra confirmation on the 4 a.m. candle to get into the trade. Now I took it at half past off these 5 minute FEGs, and price comes down. Okay, as you can see where I've left the mouse now, it's 4:55. I expected at that time, because a new 4 hour candle was about to start, that price would make an open on the new 4 hour candle, a high, and then continue lower, which is what I put live, calling this live as well, but I put this out in my Discord, and I also put this out in my journal as well because I need it for future reference. So I expected this push up, and if we go onto that 4-hour chart, this candle here is that push. This is the push. So we had the open, the high. This took us out on the first entry for a break even. And then we was looking obviously to continue to the downside as our overall draw was bearish. Okay. We had this 4-hour confirmation for bearish, and we had a weekly. We're just looking for continuation. Closed below the previous week's low, which it did here. Shows indication that we're still going lower. Price did come right down, didn't take the liquidity last week. So we're just expecting a continuation to this external range liquidity. It's very simple and effective. The daily wasn't as clean because obviously we closed back above. It was a Friday. So yeah, I just took it as and what it was. Off the weekly, down to the 4-hour, and then to a 15-minute chart. Very, very simple. I didn't really want to see anything else. Let me just make sure this is only on this time frame. I didn't really want to see anything else other than what I did see. And I've called price exactly how I wanted it to. And I'm really happy. Even though this was a break-even trade, I'm really, really happy with how it played out. Okay, and as I'll show in my journal here, so this is that first trade. As you can see, obviously my time of entry, what I was looking at, London session, short. This is pro trend, so just something I haven't used. It was just on the journal. So am I in order flow basically? We had a weekly continuation, the 4-hour CRT, 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to call it. 1 hour, the same thing. Daily continuation, that wasn't a daily continuation, so we can take that one off. And then did I have a 4-hour, 1 hour point of interest? I did. I had the 1 hour FVG, which is what I did have. Liquidity got taken inside that FVG and closed below, lower time frame entry. Okay. We hit 1R on all trades. Not this one because we went break even. Okay. And then these are my stops, my take profit in pips, and then how much RR I was looking for. Now I closed both my trades that I'm going to go on to show you that one here. Okay, so this is the trade I've just explained was this trade here. Now, I also journal everything live in the Discord so that everybody can see it, but I use it as my own journal at the same time. So it's quite nice for anybody that wants to study, anybody that wants to learn how to trade, and there's a lot of detail in here on how I trade. So literally I'll put, from the minute I start looking at the charts, I'll put exactly what I'm seeing. Okay, and this was the 4-hour. As you can see, price hasn't even printed yet, what I'm looking to take out. Okay, very, very clean and simple. If you want to have a look at that, just join the link in my Discord. For my Discord, it's very, very easy to do, nice and clean, and everything's explained and called out as and when I'm doing it. So you've got more than enough time to get into the trades. Okay, and as you can see, my live executions, why I went break even, etc. Anyways, so that was the first entry. And so the reason that I've got out of the trade, okay, so as you can see, we're coming to the end of this 4-hour candle, okay? Let's just show it on here because it's nice and big and clear. Okay, so this is the same thing here. We've got 6 minutes left. Now, why have I closed my trades early, okay? Well, we've taken previous week's low on a Monday morning or / New York session, whatever you want to call it. We haven't quite taken that external range yet. Does that mean it's going to get taken today? Well, that's the thing. With a Monday with no news, it may not do that. So I'm not really willing to hold my trades all the way back up to break even when I'm literally letting 2% float away on a Monday morning. It's not going to happen. So first and foremost is to lock in profits. So if we show the trade that I've actually taken 1R off the table on, and as you can see how much it had the move, it tagged me in perfectly. No drawdown, minimal drawdown. Boom, straight down. It hits this previous week's low, and then price has sort of played around now. Well, that's not random. It's because price has maybe done its job. It's definitely done its 4-hour job. Okay, and what I mean by that is it made the open, it put in the high, it made a low, and now it's finishing. It's closing. There's 4 minutes left, so there's no need for me to hang around in the trade that might not go any further. It might not do any more that I want it to do. Regarding that, with a new 4-hour starting, potentially, not maybe the first hour, but come the second hour. So we're going into 9 a.m. New York session. Candle's going to open by 10 a.m., which is what ICT calls a silver bullet as well in the New York session. You might have price somewhere within this FVG here, and then you could just look for this trade, continue to the downside. Okay, and this probably will play out. if it came to that situation, it will most likely respect this 15-minute FVG and continue downwards. Do I need to be part of it? No, I've made my money and I'm done. The reason I'm done is because I took this position here, which is I took a 1R on, which I will confirm there. And again, it's not random. This is all because the reason I've taken these levels is because they're within range to the drawn liquidity. Now, what I mean by that is if 1R was just down here, price is still taking it. Okay, it's look how much price did go to nearly 1.5R. Okay, so 1% locked in. Boom, done. That's that trade completed. Okay, same thing. It's very easy to see. You can see order flows bearish, respecting all the bearish FVGs and continuing lower within time frames, basing it with time frame alignment, which for me is the weekly, the 4-hour, and the 15-minute in this case. CAD Chef also has the same setup. Okay, and if we show it here, this is the 15-minute. As you can see, price tags me in at 7:30. Did I get in here? Yeah, I think I must have got in on this candle even. So 7 o'clock. Yeah, sorry, I'm mistaken. I did get in at 7. It was 7:30, 8:30 for this one. Yeah, 7:30. Sorry for this one, but UK time that's 11:30, and then 11 was the CAD JPY second entry. Okay, so 11:30, CAD. Sorry, 11 o'clock CAD Chef. As you can see here, CAD Chef 11 o'clock. We took the same trade based on the same things. Now, both pairs were CAD. I expected that pair to be falling out of the sky, to be honest. There was lots of liquidity resting below. And as you can see, here's actually a really good example of the CRT or 123 actually playing out. You can see these candles. Look, this high gets taken and closed below. The range is still intact. What happens? Look, taken, closed below, range is still intact. Price absolutely obliterates it. Now, I see people all the time just trading. So they take that range. Obviously, it's closed within. Entries here. And then they just target this. Boom. And they get out. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You probably get a 1-to-1 minimum if you're doing that. Okay. You got this level down here. My main draw was this draw here. So I wasn't in no rush to get in on the trade because I know that price is most likely going to go to the main overall drawn liquidity anyways. Why did I have my main draw down there? I had that because on the weekly, you can see that we had an extremely bearish week. Okay. Overall draw, again, would be down here. Okay. Where this purple line is now, we can put external range. Why is it external range? Well, because we've got all this liquidity that built up here. Price didn't actually tag into any 4-hour FVGs. Any weekly FVGs. But as you can see, even on the daily, this is a really big distribution to the downside. What we do have as well is a daily internal range that got tagged into. Again, price swept the high here Thursday last week. Didn't close below because it took both sides. Friday did close below really aggressively and had no reason for today to really be bullish at all. It has all the reason to go lower, and it's exactly what it did. Again, there's no 4-hour FVG here, which is something that I do like to have. I do prefer to trade when we have this pattern. I like that inside a 4-hour FVG. Again, the reason I didn't take it with like that is because we had this. Okay, so if I show now, where is it? Here. So we have this new week. Where is it? Yeah, new week candle, new week opening started here. Okay, so when price comes up and takes this liquidity that was resting from Friday and closes with a really big bearish move to the downside here, which was 4 o'clock, I was anticipating price is next draw to be this Asia low minimum. Then the draw on liquidity down here, as I've targeted liquidity target, which was there. Okay. So yeah, that was really why I got into this trade. And as you can see, obviously I'm just following order flow at this point. Price comes down. There was no FVG here, so no entry. Price then makes another market structure shift. FVG here tags in, no drawdown past the FVG, and absolutely obliterates down to the downside. Again, I took 1R. Okay. So overall, I'm up 2% for the day. Okay, this is a brand new 100K account as well. So, yep, 2% on the account. Don't know why November's got 2% on it. For whatever reason. For some reason, I don't know why that's there. But yeah, let's take that out. So as you can see, we've got 2% March. Very easy and clean. There's no actual reason for that to be there. Need to update this because that's 2024. So 2025, 2% March. As you can see, one London session trade, one New York session trade, 2 wins on a Monday. Yeah, very easy, very explainable trades. They're very simple to see why. And as I said, I would explain, the reason I've got out of the trades is because I feel like the liquidity targets have been taken. We don't have any news coming up in the New York session, anyways. So 1:30, we're at 1 o'clock now UK time. 1:30 would be normal news time. So I don't see any reason to be in these trades now. Price may just sort of consolidate for the rest of the day. It's had a massive distribution to the downside during London and the start of the New York session. So yeah, very, very clean. And basically the trades are based on these 4-hour candles. All I really do now is sort of just trade off the 4-hour candle as my higher time frame. I will use the actual higher time frames, as in the daily and the weekly, to get sort of a feel for where price is going. As I explained, if you look at this extremely bearish week last week, and there's a liquidity target below in terms of this external range, or whatever you want to call it, drawn liquidity, just a resting swing point. There's no reason for price to be running back up. And if it gives an entry, or it gives indication that it wants to continue lower on the 4-hour, all I want to do is be in and out within the 4-hour candle, or within this sort of, let's say, 2 candles, because you may get in on the second, you may get in on the third. It doesn't really matter, as long as you're in and out on the distribution leg. Yeah, so very, very clean trades. 2 trades, both taken. Both have got 2R, as I explained, and as I'll show here. Both got 1R each, sorry, so it's a total of 2R for the day. And yeah, just really, really simple trades. Then that's sort of the bread and butter of the trading, that how I trade. And yeah, like I said, it's very easy. Everything's explained in the Discord here, as you can see. This was the CAD JPY trade. And then you can see here my CAD Chef. Sorry, this is the CAD JPY trade, and this is my CAD Chef trade pre-New York session. Okay, so as I was showing what I was looking at trading, CAD Chef and CAD JPY, think both have a lot of movement to the downside, and the order flow is bearish. Just timing an entry, 11 to 11:15 UK time. Want to try and enter in this 4-hour cycle, and as you can see, it's exactly what we did. Okay, 11 a.m., which was here. Price tags in, absolutely rallies to the downside. Literally no drawdown, and it did it for both pairs. As I said, it was a little bit later, 11:30 here. But if you look, so 7 a.m. will be 11 a.m. UK time, because obviously it's based in New York. I'll quickly put it to London just to show that. So 11 o'clock, because that's what's on my journal. Start the new 4-hour. We create a open, high, low, close. And all this price action is based on that 4-hour candle. You can see it, 11 till 1. That's 2 hours of it. That's the 2 hours that I wanted to get in on. Obviously, you have all the way from here. And as you can see, even there, you had 2 different types of entries. As I showed in the previous video, this is the entry I've taken. And as I showed in the previous video, you could have taken this entry. Okay. This is the entry that I had, but I got taken out due to this new 4-hour candle forming. Now, if you wanted to trade all the way to the previous weekly low, which is where price targeted, you'd have got 3R. You'd have easily got your 2R trade with one big push near enough, literally 1 hour of candles, and you smashed that to TP. This is the same trade as what I'll show you on the 5-minute. We just got taken out. So it's not really a big deal. The only reason I got taken out is because I was premature. Okay, and as you can see here, and this is what it's something to study, look at when I entered the trade and when the new 4-hour started. Okay, so I entered 35 minutes too early. If I'd have just held back a minute, watch price do exactly what I wanted, be confident in what I wanted to see, because I did call it. I thought this would happen. I can show it right here. So order set and tagged in. So this is exactly when I was saying it. Sorry, this is the actual trade. But if I show the one that lost, or went to break even, I can show you exactly what I was seeing and why. Okay, so yeah, so look, you can see that I was just a little bit premature with my entry. yeah, look, this trade's really scaled carefully. Once the lows are taken, the new 4 hour will start, and for that reason, I will move my stops to break even as soon as that lows taken due to the market structure shift that could occur on the new 4 hour candle. And I don't want to be caught selling at the lows going into the new 4 hour candle. So what I meant by that is obviously looking at it now in hindsight, it was still a really good entry and a really good trade. Okay, because obviously price just came back and tagged in again. We can see exactly why, because the 15-minute needed to tag into the FVG, which is what it did. Perfect entry if you was on the 15-minute chart. The reason the reason I got taken out was because I entered that little bit early. I should have just waited for that 4 hour candle, which starts here. And then we had obviously the open, which consolidates a little bit. Then we have the manipulation. So we have open, manipulation to the upside, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. First phase distribution, as the market maker models would teach, ICT teaches, whatever you want to call it. First phase distribution. Second, yeah, accumulation again. Second phase distribution. Accumulation. Price will most likely distribute again to the downside. After, it will most likely make a move to the upside again because price has got to accumulate, which it's doing now. Then it will manipulate, then distribute again. Okay, and this is a new 4 hour candle starting as well. So it's something to take, read, and look at going forward into the next few hours. I will take, read, and journal it anyways. But yeah, these trades were really, really clean. And as I said, it was something I expected to happen. I've explained it really, really clearly here. I expected price to do what it did. Now, I'm trying to find it where I've actually said. Yeah, so look, as explained, the new 4 hour, I expect the candle to put in a high, and if it does take the lows before the new 4 hour starts, then I don't want to be in the setup once liquidity is taken. However, if the lows are intact, I will hold. So what happened was the 5 minute chart did take these lows here. Okay, this was the top liquidity I was talking about. Price gets taken in that little area where I was in the trade. So I knew price was going to come back up to re accumulate orders, which is what it did. And that's why I was trying to just not be too aggressive with the stop, but also at the same time making sure that if price does come back up above this swing point, now if what I meant by why I didn't want to be in it is because if price, okay, it's taken this level here, price has started a new 4 hour candle, accumulate, manipulate. Now, if I was on the wrong side, price might have done this, okay, then gone for the London high. Why would it do that? Well, there's no news. It's the first day of the week. Price has then had a market structure shift. Let's say, for instance, if this candle was a bit more bullish to the upside, and then you're stuck in a trade you don't want to be in. I tried to explain that in my journal there because it's something about time and price that I'm trying to get correct. Now, what made this an easier setup when I did take the trade is because I already had the confirmation down here. So that we've accumulated, manipulated, and then we distribute. I knew going into this New York session, after an hour or two of this 4 hour candle, we already had the wick put in. So we're just targeting the lows. It was very simple. I'm just getting in on the distribution. And that's why you see this 15-minute doesn't mess around. It literally just tags in and runs. And it will always do that when you're on the right side of the market. You can see here, tags in, runs, comes, accumulates, tags in, runs. First phase distribution, second phase distribution. Very, very simple. And it's all based on time. Long as we know that, like we said, this was the second, I think it was the second hour or the third hour of the 4 hour candle. I had no reason to believe that price was not going to go lower. I expected it. It already put in the high, had an open, a high. I was just looking for the distribution to the downside. So yeah, very simple. And as I've said a few times now, everything's journaled in here from entries to proof of me taking setups. Yeah, just everything's in the Discord and it's really simple, really clean. Everybody can see exactly what's going on. And yeah, and if you want to join, just hit up the Instagram and yeah, just literally go on the Instagram, go on the link and join. It's not that much. There's a lot of knowledge and a lot of my stats and that go posted in there. Everything's in there and nothing's fake. At the end of the day, I want to make a living from trading and I do it at the moment currently, which I'm blessed and lucky for. But it's all about trying to be longevity in this game is the most key and important thing. And getting to that stage is what I'm aiming for, which is why I'm still sort of editing my style of trading, sort of finding what really does work for me, what I find the most stress free to trade. And what I mean by that is, at the moment, I'm finding using the 4 hour power of three with the sort of 1, 2, 3 or CRT method coupled with it, just find it so stress free. It's so easy to see it. You get a lot of setups. You can be patient, and you've got the higher time frames to take your draw on liquidity down to, which normally you can easily get a 1 to 2. You probably get more if you trade like that. If you want to trade just to be an actual trader to trade to the draw on liquidity, I just trade 1 to 2. I just find it mechanically easy, and I'd rather not have the stress of working out the numbers and that. I either make 1%, 2% a day, or I lose 2% a day or 1% a day. It's not a big deal. So yeah, really, really good trading session. 2% up as I've shown here. 2% up for the day, 2% up for March so far, and 2% up for the new account as well. So that's me done until tomorrow.